Hey, party people, we are back and we're getting caught up on all of the Diddy drama with a quick recap on how this crazy debacle got started. I am Erica and let's get into it.
I want a happy ending, tired of pretending. Won't let them get the best of me. Whoa, 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 give me a break. The game is survival. Give me a break and play my arrival.
Okay, you guys, first we're going to start off with Diddy's lawyer's response or Diddy's response to the raid and all the allegation. Diddy's lawyer, Aaron Dyer, issued this following response, and I will read it to you guys in case you can't see that on the screen. Yesterday, there was a gross overuse of military level force as search warrants were executed at Mr. Combs' residences. There's no excuse for the excessive show of force and hostility exhibited by authorities or the way his children and employees were treated. Mr. Combs was never detained but spoke to and cooperated with authorities. Despite media speculation, neither Mr. Combs nor any of his family members have been arrested, nor has their ability to travel been restricted in any way. This unprecedented ambush, paired with an advanced coordinated media presence, leads to a premature rush to judgment of Mr. Combs and is nothing more than a witch hunt based on meritless accusations made in civil lawsuits. There has been no filing of criminal or civil liability with any of these allegations. Mr. Combs is innocent and will continue to fight every single day to clear his name. All right, you guys. Now that sounds like what, I would pay an expensive ass lawyer to say. So go ahead on with the business, Aaron. And of course, Diddy has denied these charges from the very beginning, all the way from Cassie down to all of the allegations, whether he settled them or not. So, just to kind of let you guys know what's been happening going on so far this week, on Monday, the Department of Homeland Security searched Diddy's homes in LA, Miami, and also New York, although New York has not been mentioned as much. A spokesperson for the Department of Homeland Security, DHSI, or HSI, for the state of New York, executed law enforcement actions as part of an ongoing investigation with the assistance from HSI Los Angeles, HSI Miami, and our local law enforcement partners. We will provide further information as it becomes available. So they actually had to go to a judge um, to get warrants for this sort of search for anything kind of like this. So this goes above and beyond the criminal lawsuit. Okay. So in order for a judge to approve the warrants to search in all of these different jurisdictions, all of these properties, they did have something to present to him. So either they're taking the litigation seriously or they have something else in store or something else that they have not yet revealed. Okay, so the HSI has not released a detailed list of everything that it took from all of Combs' properties, but NBC is reporting that the officials seized his phones, electronics in the Miami raid. They also reported that firearms were found on his properties as well, but they did not note if the guns were seized or if they gave them back if they were registered. So we still don't know at this point all of what was taken. But as we can see in these photos and these pictures, they went through every single nook and cranny. They are looking for the tapes, people. They are looking for the video. They're looking for cameras, anything. Look at those gym shoes. They went through every single thing. At the time of the posting of this video, however, though, Combs has not been formally charged or accused um, by any federal prosecutors of any sort of crime at this point. Right now, it is only the civil lawsuits that are still pending. Now, one thing we noticed during the raid in LA is that Diddy's sons, Justin and King, were put in handcuffs. They were detained. But my understanding is that this is natural and usual. When you see homes being searched, they always make you leave the home and they to make sure you don't tamper with evidence. And, you know, I guess they usually do the handcuffs as well. In the end, though, um, neither son was arrested, and they later came in that following evening to kind of get some of their things because um, I don't know, maybe the properties are crime scenes, who knows? But they did come later that evening to get some of their things out of the house. Now, here is the thing. While the raid was going on, Diddy was spotted at Miami airport after during the same time that his homes were being raided by Homeland Security. Now, what's interesting is we all know that Diddy has, or maybe I didn't know this honestly, he has a black Love Air jet. So there's been a lot of confusion and speculation about whether he was fleeing to get on this jet or not. But he was stopped and detained and spoken to while the raid was going on at the Miami Opelika airport. And TMZ has footage of him sort of milling around and pacing. Um, and the New York Post reported that Combs was allegedly about to board a different private jet, so not his black jet, which was spotted. His Love Air jet was spotted actually going to the Caribbean island of Antigua. But at the time of that the raid was going on, Combs or Diddy was supposed to actually be going in a different private jet, and we don't really know where he was intending to go at that point. So while all of this is going down, while Diddy is at the airport being detained, a man named Brendan Paul, here in this picture, who is 25 years old, who in Lil Rod's lawsuit, which I'll get to later in the video, Lil Rod alleges that Brendan Paul is Diddy's drug mule. However, what's interesting is while he was at the Miami Opelika airport with Diddy, about to get on that private jet, he was arrested with charges for possessions of cocaine and marijuana edibles or marijuana candy. According to the lawsuit that Jones has filed, which we'll get into in more detail, uh, Brendan Paul, who is, we got to give credit where credit is due, he is a former basketball player for Syracuse. But yeah, Brendan Paul procured, transported, and distributed ecstasy, cocaine, GHB, ketamine, marijuana, mushrooms, and Tucci for Diddy over the years. Paul, however, I will say this: Paul has since been released on $2,500 bond, which I think is kind of reasonable for edibles. I mean, come on. Although cocaine is pretty bad, and I'll just tell you the truth: I didn't know that the feds would take you down for edibles. You know what I'm saying? Who knew? But all right, now we know. So be careful. Eat that candy before you get on the plane. Do something. But yeah. So, all right. So there was the raid. There's the arrest. Now we come to find out, um, you know, that Diddy has sold um, his interest in Revolt. Okay. So sources claim um, that while the raid was going on, Diddy gave up his stake in Revolt, the company that he founded in Revolt TV, which was the company that he founded in 2013 for undisclosed reasons to unknown buyers. Okay, so we don't know who they are. But my understanding is it's still sort of black owned, but who knows, right? And whatever. So with the new owners, they plan to make a formal announcement in the upcoming weeks. So here's the thing. Here's the question. Um, Basically, Diddy's Love Air jet was spotted on the island of Antigua. The Prime Minister of Antigua, Barbuda, nipped all the rumors in the bud by telling Newsweek and everyone else that Diddy was not on the jet when it was in Antigua. So he's not in the Caribbean. But we have to wonder the mystery jet flying, selling of the stock, the fact that many of the homes and the property that he owns are held in the names of his children. Has he been attempting to flee? Is that what's going on?
Run.
That's the question. Is he trying to flee, or is he trying to preserve an inheritance for his children and for his kids and his whole legacy? Is he trying to basically safeguard his moolah for the children before it's seized by the feds? This week has been so crazy. I think that this is where we are now having even more questions than answers. Okay, we don't know what's the next bomb that is going to drop, but we got to wonder, how did we get here? So what I'm going to kind of do now is do sort of a quick recap of the labyrinth of cases that got us here. So let's get into it. So this total Diddy debacle started with Cassie, okay? Cassie made shocking allegations back in November when she filed a civil lawsuit against Diddy, alleging that he sexually and physically abused her during the course of their relationship, so for many years. She filed her case on November 16th under New York State's Adult Survivors Act, which gave adult victims of sexual violence a 1 year window to file civil claims regardless of the statute of limitations. In the suit, Cassie alleged that Combs raped her, that he beat her in fits of uncontrollable rage, and exerted a tight hold over her life. She also alleged that he would force her to engage in sex acts that he called freak offs. We'll never be able to listen to that word again, with other men, often sex workers whom he'd pay to travel with them while he watched. Yes, he was a cook indeed. The abuse ranged from 2007 until Cassie left him in late 2018, the suit said. Diddy, of course, as with all of this, he vehemently denied the allegations from Cassie. He denied everything, okay? However, he settled the suit a day after it was filed, which kind of left us all wondering, like, okay. And that Joy Dickerson Neal. She said that Cassie's lawsuit inspired her to come forward and file her lawsuit against Diddy. And she filed on November 23rd of last year, a day before the Adult Survivors Act was set to expire. Dickerson Neal said that Combs drugged her, sexually assaulted her, and recorded the assault without her knowledge while she was a student in 1991. She agreed to have dinner with Combs on January 3rd, 1991, in Harlem while on winter break from Syracuse University. Maybe Diddy is a fan of Syracuse, another Syracuse student. Um, it was there that Combs intentionally drugged her and then took her to a place where he was staying. Dickerson Neal said she lacked the physical ability or mental capacity to fend Combs off as he sexually assaulted her. She later learned from a male friend. Now, she doesn't identify this friend in the lawsuit, but obviously she knows who he is. So there is at least one witness. She later learned from a male friend that Combs had filmed the assault and showed it to other people. So that was an. So on the very last day of eligibility under the Adult Survivors Act, Liza Gardner filed a lawsuit accusing Combs of sexually assaulting her when she was only 16 years old. So depending on the age of consent in New York, it might be statutory rape regardless of the facts, right? Gardner alleged that in either 1990 or 1991, she and a friend met Combs and R&B singer Aaron Hall, an event held by MCA Records, which should be able to They should be able to find those dates actually. At an event held by MCA Records in Manhattan. After the party, she was invited back to Hall's apartment with Combs, with Diddy, the suit said, and the two offered her drinks throughout the night. Diddy then coerced her into having sex, um, leaving Gardner shocked and traumatized. At this point, Aaron Hall barges into the room after Combs was done. He pins her down and sexually assaulted her, according to the lawsuit. Also, in the lawsuit, basically, her friend, the reverse happened. Her friend, was assaulted originally by Aaron Hall, and then basically they swapped him out, and then Diddy went into her friend's room and assaulted her. There was another Jane Doe filing. Jane Doe filed a lawsuit alleging that she was gang raped and sex trafficked by Combs and Harvey Pierre, a former longtime president of Diddy's record label. The unidentified woman said that the assault happened in 2003 when she was 17 and Diddy was 34. According to the suit, she met Diddy and Pierre at a lounge in Detroit, and Diddy convinced her to travel with them on a private jet to New York City. So she met him in Detroit, Michigan, and they traveled to New York City, and I believe she was originally from Canada. So right there, the travel across state lines and her being from out of the country would constitute some elements of sex trafficking. Before they left the lounge, she says in her lawsuit, Pierre smoked crack cocaine and forced her to perform oral sex on him. She then was taken to a studio in New York where Combs, Pierre, and a third defendant plied her with copious amounts of drugs and alcohol. And then the three men took turns raping her in a bathroom at the studio after she was too inebriated to consent, according to her lawsuit. The men allegedly left her on the bathroom floor once they were done, and she was flown back to Michigan. Of course, as in all of the allegations, Diddy and Pierre deny everything and they call her lawsuit a tale of fiction, although she does have a photo from that night. And then here she is with her face blurred out. Okay, so latest and probably the most damaging of the lawsuits happened this past February. A man named Rodney Lil Rod Jones alleges in his federal lawsuit that Combs and his associates engaged in serious illegal activity. Jones worked as a producer on Diddy's latest album, but also lived and traveled with him from September 22 to November 2023. And this is important to keep in mind because um, all of these allegations are happening well within the statute of limitations for any of his allegations. So that's why his suit has the greatest, can have some of the greatest damage. Okay, so he alleges that during that time he was sexually harassed by Diddy. He was pressured to engage in sexual acts, forced to procure sex workers for Diddy, and witness um, Diddy giving drinks laced with drugs to people at parties. The suit said that Diddy required Jones to record him constantly, which resulted in Jones obtaining hours of footage in which Combs and his staff allegedly engaged in criminal conduct. So that is the question. Does he really have that footage? And if he does, was that the basis for the warrant that was issued to see what footage Diddy has as well? Screenshots of the video clips were included with the lawsuit, described as being from parties in which underage girls and sex workers were present. Jones alleged that Diddy was attempting to groom him into having a sexual relationship with him. He also indicated that he felt like Diddy was trying to groom him and pass him off to other, to his friends. Jones also alleged that he and another man, Brendan Paul, who was arrested earlier, were asked to travel with drugs and firearms on Diddy's behalf. So basically, he's saying Brendan Paul was a mule and he was a mule. In his amended filings, Jones additionally accused Diddy and his son Justin of being involved in a 2022 shooting at a Los Angeles recording studio, which, of course, Diddy and his son Justin both deny. So finally, another major allegation is Jones says that Diddy had been grooming him to pass him off to his friends, including specifically Cuba Gooding Jr. Some of the stills that Jones provides with his lawsuit show a photo of him with Cuba, and he says that Cuba he accuses the actor of touching, groping, and fondling his legs, his upper inner thighs near his groin, and the small of his back near his buttocks and his shoulders against his will. A number of celebrities also appeared in the court filings made in connection with Rodney's $30 million lawsuit against Diddy. Some of the stars, to name a few, but this is not a conclusive list, were Young Miami, Stevie J, and even the British Prince Harry got caught up in the inferno. But you guys, this story is ongoing and I will keep you posted, but that's it for now. So please like, comment, and subscribe. I'll be back shortly with any updates and any additional Diddy fallout. But as I always say, you guys, be true, be you, be great. Ciao for now. See you in the next video.
Fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out. No thanks.